Welcome back to the flip side of adversity. This season, I'm focusing on creating a flip as a leader. Yes, in uncertain times, because uncertainty is no longer a moment, it is a whole environment. And many leaders are carrying pressure they don't have language or an answer for, or even relief. When we understand that, we are reminded that leadership doesn't form in ease, it actually forms in pressure, not because of the fact that we're just doing it to suffer, but it's actually an opportunity for us to produce perseverance, for us to produce character, for us to produce hope, and that hope is not just about an outcome, but it is about how it forms us as leaders. Leadership, suffering looks like responsibility without control. It's making decisions without clarity. It's absorbing fear and tension and resistance and still being expected to lead with wisdom and integrity. And if we're not careful, pressure will push us to panic, people pleasing, and actually burnout. This season is about flipping that. Every episode this year will help us flip pressure into perseverance, learning how to stay present, grounded, and regulated, even when the weight doesn't feel like it's lifting. We'll flip perseverance into character and prove that leadership doesn't crumble as a result of delays. And we'll flip character into hope, not just optimism or wishfulness, but confidence that is rooted into the character of a leader who is resolved. So, if you're a leader, a learner, a listener, someone who just wants to show up stronger, all of our conversations are for you. This is a time for clarity and courage and spiritual grounding that will actually allow you to reconnect with who you are. Stop measuring yourself around effectiveness, but get anchored in the confidence of your sheer presence. This season, we're not avoiding adversity. We're actually learning how to flip it and lead through it. So, welcome to the journey right here on the flip side. Leadership and influence. It's rooted in the responsibility you take. You pay attention to the patterns, your calm, your strength, your hope. It's all integrated. We are living in a time where trust is fragile and people are watching not just what leaders say, but how they decide. Integrity is not optional anymore. Obedience is going to cost you. In this season, we're not just flipping adversity, we're forming leaders who can carry what comes next. Leaders from across all dimensions of fields and spaces, they're going to come together to give you the best of their wisdom. And I want you to leave each episode with a call to action. That's the work, that's the calling, and that's the conversation we're stepping into. Hello, hello, hello. I am so excited about this conversation. So, this one is number one of 47. And I'm so excited that Dr. Dani Martin, who is no stranger to the flip side, is with us for our first leadership conversation. And I just want to give you a little bit of her receipt so you understand why I would pick her as a leader for this conversation. So, Dr. Dani Martin is the newly hired Director of Multicultural Student Affairs at Shippensburg University, bringing more than 23 years of impact across public, K-12, and higher education. She self-identifies as a transparent motivator, passionate connector, encourager with accountability, driven activist, and embracer of self-love and reflection. Woo! all of that. She's a native of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Dr. Martin's leadership journey spans classrooms, college access initiatives, admissions, dual enrollment, faculty development, and statewide advocacy. So if you wondered why I picked her as number one, that gives you all of the background. She also currently serves as president of the Pennsylvania Black Conference on Higher Education and is a proud mother of twins who have also been on the show, Aaron and Ashley. Welcome to the flip side of adversity, Dr. Danielle Martin.
Hey, Dr. Jackson and everybody watching. I'm so excited to be here.
You know what? I am so thankful for your yes as I kick off this conversation with 47 leaders and really having raw, honest conversations around how to lead well in a season, a constant season. As I said in the opening, there was a time when, pressure and uncertainty was a momentary thing. This is like a saga. And being able to have conversations with leaders who really understand how they're carrying the weight, how they are navigating in a really authentic and practical way, it just makes me so excited. So thank you for your yes.
Absolutely. I am honored to be here and share my experience and a little bit of wisdom.
Yes. Now she's gonna give us a whole lot of wisdom, y'all. Just get ready. If you didn't get your pencil, I'm giving you some time to get the pencil.
I was
So,
going to get yourself a notebook and a pen because class is in session.
classes in session, all of that. When we talked, you wanted to entitle this episode The Weight That Leaders Carry, Grace, Grief, and Overcoming. So, what does it mean for you personally in this season as a leader, um, to unpack that conversation around weight?
Yeah, so one of the things um that I hold dear to me is that I don't teach from a place of unknown,
Mhm.
right? I'm teaching from where I'm coming from. I'm teaching from lived experiences. And this last season, in particular, this last year of my life, wow. So, as you stated, opener, I came into the office of president for the Pennsylvania Black Conference of Higher Education in January. By April, I had lost my first member of the
Mm.
organization. By June, I had lost another. By September, I had lost my vice president.
Mm.
So, stepping into leadership and having the expectation of all the things, stepping into a new organization, being expected to carry the torch, carry on, and then you have these major things that hit you. All the expectations haven't stopped though.
Right,
The
right.
meetings haven't stopped, right? And so during that season of my life, I really was just like, okay, wait a minute here. Pause. Um, and sometimes we don't pause.
Hmm.
We don't take the time to think about things. We don't take the time to give ourselves the chance to breathe. Expectations were shifting, people needed answers, and the pace of the change didn't slow down just because I was human and that I had some grief. And so I had to have a conversation with myself. I like to call it a personal staff meeting. I don't
Hmm.
know what you all call it, but I had a choice. Either I react out of urgency
Hmm.
or I flip the way that I was leading.
Yeah, yeah. And when we tend to respond out of urgency, it creates sometimes a ripple effect of damage. Would you agree?
Absolutely. So that damage could be your mental health and
Mm-hmm.
wellness. Um, I think that's the biggest thing for me right now is how am I taking care of myself because I'm expected to take care of so many other folks. So if it's not the health and wellness, it could be something else,
Yeah.
and so it is so important for us as leaders to pause. 'Cause this is the one of the things that I had to do. I had to be still. In whatever way that looks like for you, I invite you to pause and be still
Mm-hmm.
so that you are able to, one, deal with your emotion, right? How many of us make emotional decisions sometimes?
Yeah.
And emotional decisions are not, of course, best when you're in a leadership space, right?
Mm-hmm.
So pause so that you can deal with your emotion. Pause so you can make sense of what is happening. Pause so that
Mm-hmm.
you can acknowledge how you're feeling on the inside. Because when you're able to do those things, then you're able to make sound decisions and move in ways that you should be moving.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a quote that I tell people in my refill series that a moment of thought is worth more to a leader than an hour of talk.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
actually allowing ourselves to collect ourselves as opposed to being pushed by the grind because of some obligation that we feel is weighing on us. There's a responsibility that we have to take to allow ourselves that pause. And I know that there's some people who are probably already pushing back saying, I don't have time to pause. Don't you see how fast everything is going, what the pace feels like? Like, there's no time for me to pause. What are you talking about, pause? How do you make that realistic and manageable for leaders who are actually may not just be experiencing physical loss, but they're
Mhm.
experiencing loss from moral injury or staffing or funding, and they're just like on a treadmill, and you're saying to pause. How do you, what do you say to them to make this realistic?
So, one of the questions that I'm thinking about as you're speaking is why don't you have the time to pause?
Mm-hmm.
What have you not made time? What are you making time for that is? Let me phrase it this way: why not? Period. I want to know why not. Why are you not giving yourself the time to be still, to sit, to process, to acknowledge? Um, it, I'm gonna say this, Dr. J.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make any sense to me. You have to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sort of
Mm-hmm.
like when you're taking an exam. When you're taking an exam, the student encouraged to rush through an exam. You're encouraged at a very young age. I remember even in first grade teaching, we want to sit and we want to think about the best answer, right? Why don't you have the time to sit and think about the best response? And the best
Mm-hmm.
response is not always an impulsive response. The best response is never an emotional response.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
can't lead from a place of emotion. So I would say that you have to give yourself the space and time. The other thing, I think about is, and I just said this to somebody this morning, but we were talking about relationships. How
Mm-hmm.
much is that relationship going to cost me? So when you
Mm-hmm.
think about leadership, how much is that decision going to cost me?
That
The
part.
decision of um, not taking the time to think about things, the decision to not come from an emotional. What are these things costing me? It's costing me my peace. I'm putting more pressure on myself than
Mm-hmm.
necessary.
Mm-hmm.
You have to think of it. You have to shift your mindset and think of it in terms of that. What is it costing you? It's cost.
Oh, we're losing connection. But as we're waiting for Dr. Danny to reconnect, I think there's something powerful in making the question or reflection on what is it actually costing you to continue to make an emotional decision or to push yourself past acknowledging that you need a moment to breathe. When we're thinking about this conversation around carrying the weight and balancing the grief as well as the grace, there's an opportunity for us to really become reflective in order to be more productive. And I know that there are some people who are already pushing back, rolling their eyes, because I've gotten it in live live training sessions. But I'm going to challenge us to consider, what is it costing me emotionally in the decision, as well as physically, as well as my integrity as a leader? Because with each moment that I am pushing and ignoring and not even speaking about the weight, I'm also sending a message to those who I am leading that they don't have permission to do it either. And then it creates this contagion of weight, of exhaustion, of fatigue, and then we literally can't be functional as a team. When I look back at moments in which I had to really explore what I believe about pushing myself to the limit and ignoring the weight that I'm carrying, I had to begin to choose and decide, how am I going to replicate healthy leadership for those who I am creating a succession plan to take my place? Am I trying to create a legacy where those who are watching me are going to pick up that there's some kind of metal connected to exhaustion, or that there's some kind of metal connected to the fact that I'm ignoring the fact that I need to grieve? And when we talk about grief, there's more than the physical loss. It's all of the other losses as well. I think about, as I was driving here, the nervous system of a leader right now. It in my mind, I was seeing like this frayed wire that's literally frayed and barely hanging on, because with every news report, there is yet again something else that we have to be bracing ourselves for and white knuckle gripping. And if I'm not willing to recognize that that's taking a toll on me, then I'm also not doing the best that I can in my role. And I'm giving every leader
Mhm.
around me the message that they don't have permission to pause and be reflective either. Hey, she's back. Hey, Dr. Danny.
Hey, I'm sorry, I don't know what happened. But as you're talking, I was taking mental notes in my head. And you know what else I was thinking about as you were
What?
talking?
What?
And as you mentioned grief, um, there's also grief as you become a leader because you are grieving who you once were
Mm.
prior to stepping into the role,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You're growing at a pace that you're not ready for, or it's unexpected. So you have feelings centered around loss of funding or loss of staff or loss of the physical person, but then I'm also in a way giving something up of myself,
Yeah.
right? That my current or old position didn't call for me to do. right? And I'm stretching and I'm stepping in to newness and getting to know people and all those things. And maybe you weren't a frontline person prior to, but now you are. And so, there's all of these feelings. And I feel like nobody talks about that part of leadership, right?
Hmm.
Everybody wants to talk about the glitz and the glamour and, oh, look at my door tag and I'm this and I'm that and I'm out front. Honey, again, how much is it costing me?
Yes. How much is it
And
costing me? Mm-hmm.
for me, it can't cost my peace. It can't cost me my well-being. It cannot. I don't care
Mm-hmm.
what the dollar amount is attached to it. And so sometimes you have to have those hard conversations with your side coach, personal staff meetings. You have to have those with yourself. Uh, where's your integrity,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be able to honor yourself in that way. And in my stretching and growing period of grief, I had to honor that. I had to honor myself, honor my boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
because boundaries are another part of leadership,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
where do you draw the line?
Yeah. Yeah. So when you think about, because I know you're building a whole curriculum and coursework around this conversation to really bring this to light, because I agree, there's people aren't talking about the grief that leaders carry in all of the dimensions. How are you seeing grief and grace walking hand in hand?
Hmm. So I think the first thing I think of when you just asked me that is community.
Hmm.
And it's for us to recognize that we're not walking this alone, right? We have our own separate feelings, and everybody feels the way that they feel, but there's somebody who has felt that way before.
Hmm.
There's somebody who's made it to the finish line before, you know, and those people potentially are part of your village, or
Hmm.
you will be introduced to someone who has walked your walk. And this is also why mentorship is important, right?
Yeah.
So that you have people who are supportive, who can hold you, who can walk
Hmm.
beside you. And when you build the community, it's about honoring and listening and affirming and accountability in
Yeah.
that too, right? Because okay, you may be hurting, you may be grieving, you may have learned a hard lesson, but then it's also like, okay, we're not going to walk back down that road. And if we have to walk back down that road,
Hmm.
here are the steps we need to take to get through.
Hmm.
So I think one of the things I want people to know, specifically leaders, is you are not, of course, you're not the only one, but I really need you to have a village and a community surrounding you. It's important for you to hear other people's stories. Storytelling, that's another way,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? In church, we
Hmm.
call it a testimony. But in classrooms, we call it a story. Tell us a story about where you've been and all those things, right? You're essentially sharing a piece of yourself and a piece of your journey
Yeah.
to help guide and or heal someone else.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like we will tell people that you need to be in community, um, but recognizing that that's going to take intentionality. So it's not just going to naturally happen, and it's not always going to be people who you are always around. You may have to
Absolutely.
actually seek out or
Hmm.
ask to become a part of, or even connect with people who you would not normally um, naturally find yourself connected to be intentionally placed in a place that you grow as a leader, that you thrive as a leader, that you recover as a leader, that it allows you to hear the battle
Mhm.
wounds, as well as the scars, as well as the recovery of others. So you may have to step outside of your comfort zone to
Absolutely.
identify community that is not naturally already near you, but you may
Mhm.
have to seek it out or
And that
even
comes with
orchestrate.
initiative.
Yes.
That comes with initiative and being courageous. And
Mm-hmm.
that is something that I'm getting ready to teach as I step into this new position. I'm
Mm-hmm.
getting ready to teach my students. Here you need to take the initiative to do some things. You don't have to wait for things to happen. And that goes for us too, right? So it's funny to me that I'm not always teaching my students, although it may look like it. Sometimes I'm ministering to myself, right?
Yes. Yes.
You
Yes.
know, but that's so true. So you need to step, you just said something, you need to step out of your comfort zone. We all know that growth doesn't happen within our box, right? But also, which way are you going to challenge yourself to
Mm-hmm.
stretch?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. As you are really diving into this conversation and raising awareness, what are some anchor new elements or insights have you been writing about and exploring when it comes to this conversation on the invisible weight that people aren't talking about that leaders are carrying?
So I'm thinking of the word pressure.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be able to shift our mindset around certain vocabulary words, right? Pressure is not really a bad thing. I don't know if it's a proverb or just a saying, but a lot of times you hear people say pressure builds diamonds.
Mm-hmm.
I need people to understand. Here's three things. This is just three things I came up with as I was thinking about this conversation. Pressure exposes pace. And
Mm.
so when change comes really fast, you either speed up or you become rooted. So again, what
Mm-hmm.
is it going to cost you? Because if you're running at the speed of lightning, what's
Mm-hmm.
going to happen? You're
Mm-hmm.
going to get tired, you out of breath, and if you out of shape, it's just all bad together, right? Um, the speed, it feels productive. It feels great, right? Think about even when you're driving. Can't nobody catch me, right? It feels productive. But really, I mean, are you burning out your motor? Are you
Mm-hmm.
hard on your brakes when you got to slow down? So speed feels productive, but rooted leadership is really what sustains us,
Right.
right? And so think about the tortoise and the hare.
Right.
The tortoise won the race, right? He might have took the scenic route, he might have slowed down, but he won the race. And at the end of the race, he was well.
Mm-hmm.
Pressure also reveals integrity.
Mm-hmm.
And so integrity shows up when nobody is clapping, no, there's nothing public, and decisions still have to be made.
Yeah.
My I'm gonna shout out my new supervisor. These last couple of weeks, he keeps saying something and it is really sticking with me. He's saying, "Are you able to get up in the morning and look in the mirror and say hello, integrity?"
Yeah.
You
That's a
know,
whole word for leaders today.
that
That I
that's
mean, that's a whole book. Can you
yes,
wake up in the morning and look in the mirror and say, "Good morning" or "Hello, integrity"? Look
yes.
yourself in the eye. That's a
And
whole
he
word.
says that often, and it just really is sticking to me because much like you, I'm like, oh, that is a cue in the organ. Where's the collection plate?
Mhm.
Because that's a word. And the other thing I think about pressure requires discernment,
Mhm.
not just strategy, right? And so
Mhm.
some of our decisions, they can't be Googled, they can't be crowdsourced. It requires you to be still so
Yeah.
that you can hear. If you're believers, in my case, I had to sit
Mhm.
still so that I can hear from the Lord what my next move is
Mhm.
going to be.
Mhm.
But during that time, it allowed me to sit and care for myself. It allowed me to
Mhm.
be gentle with myself. It allowed me to say, you know what, Danielle, it is okay. We're going to go to sleep tonight and we're going to get up and try again tomorrow. Grace, right? And one of the
Yeah.
things I say to myself too often, that same grace that you out here giving everybody else every day, every minute of the
Mhm.
day,
Mhm.
are you giving it back to yourself?
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to, or you're not going to be able to sustain. You're not going to last. Again, what is it going to cost you? A lot of leaders end up in the hospital,
Mhm.
sidelined, health problems, because you've taken on societal, employer pressure. And then on top of that, you've added a layer of pressure for yourself.
Mhm.
That's a lot. Pause.
There's something that you just said that literally I was wrestling with this morning. So you said pressure reveals pace, it reveals integrity, and it reveals discernment. I need y'all to write those three things down because when this morning I was feeling so much pressure because of a challenge or conflict. And as a leader, I really had to sit with discernment in how to move forward, not in my my frustration, or not even in the way I wanted to. You know how you can create or write a whole book on how you going to tell that person exactly what they need to
Right.
hear, but
Yes.
but the Holy Spirit is right here like, no, that's not what is needed in this moment. I want you to show up as a version of leadership that is radically different than
Mm-hmm.
even what that person is expecting you to show up
Mm-hmm.
as. And
Mm-hmm.
that discomfort in the morning of wrestling with, but I want to do it this way. No, this is the way that's actually the best, most integral, patient
Yes. Yes.
patient way so that you can discern and fully see what's at the root of the
Mm-hmm.
issue, what's at the root of that behavior, what's at the root of the insecurity, what's at the root of the thing that's showing up in front of you. Yeah, you're going to have to say no to the way you want to do it so that you can
Absolutely.
utilize discernment so that you do it the best way, so that the
Mm-hmm.
long game of
Yep.
what needs to happen happens more
Mm-hmm.
effectively. And you don't sabotage how God wants to use you in the moment because your feelings are what you want to be more loyal to, as opposed to trusting the predestined outcome that's already in front of you. You just got me
Ooh,
all wound
come,
up
come on,
because that
come
was me
on,
this morning.
word.
Child, I was in the shower
Ah,
fighting with myself. You wait till I get there. I'ma say, I'ma do what I got
fighting for your
exactly.
life,
And
fighting
I'm
for your,
like, and
and you know what?
no,
And
that's not
and
it.
for what? And for what?
Right?
Right? Because fast change or decision making demands, deep leadership, not
Yeah.
louder leadership.
Wait.
You
Deep wait. Wait. Pause. Requires deep leadership, not loud leadership. Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
and
Mm-hmm.
being still,
Mm-hmm.
being still is it. So had you not, even though you struggled with that, right? You still had a moment, whether it was in your commute, whether it was when you were getting ready, whenever it happened, you still had those moments where you were like, you know what, this is not the way. And that is when you're able to discern. That's when discernment comes in. But
Mm-hmm.
are you listening? Because sometimes we have those moments really quickly and it's like, okay, I'm not going to do that. But then we're reeling.
Mm-hmm. Mhm.
We
Mhm.
create more chaos for
Mhm.
ourselves, and then we jump right back. "Ah!" And again,
Mhm.
it's too much. You've
Mhm.
already succumbed to negativity,
Mhm.
emotions,
Mhm.
right? Because we can't lead with our emotions even when we want to. But I'm glad you had that moment. That was a word.
That
Where
was
my collection plate?
oh,
Pass the collection plate.
it was a whole thing because I think it has been a journey where I've had to be more committed to obedience than my
Come on.
desire or my
Come on.
choices. I have had to be more committed to obedience than my first choice, like the thing I want, and
And the
trust that my
reward for the
yeah,
obedience.
right, and trust that there is going to be a reward for the obedience,
Yes.
but that obedience is going to cost me to pay attention to my pace, to pay attention to my integrity, to pay attention to discernment, to pay attention to
Hmm.
my trust and my faith.
Hmm.
That obedience is going to cost me because the mantle that is connected to showing up as a leader who is
Hmm.
not collapsing under the
Hmm.
weight, but actually recognizing that I am being positioned for a next that I can't even
Yes.
see yet.
Ooh, yes.
I can't
Yes.
even
Because this
see
is
yet.
exactly what you're describing is exactly what just happened to me. Right? On top of the grief that I was dealing with, I was also advocating for myself, which was a challenge. Okay. So I have the grief, I'm asserting myself and advocating for myself. And then here comes opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, this is a lot. This is a lot. And sometimes he will allow you to experience all the, like being in a firing squad,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Until you relinquish and surrender. Okay. So as you were talking, I was hearing
Mm-hmm.
it's just things just dropping on me. One of the things I heard was surrender. You
Yep.
have to surrender and throw in the towel and lay what I did. I laid it at his feet and I was not going to
Mm-hmm.
pick it back up because if I went,
Mm-hmm.
it just don't work like that. You can't. I
Mm-hmm.
laid it at his feet and I could not go back and pick it up. I could,
Mm-hmm.
you can't say that you want to be rid of something that is stressing you out, you want to be rid of something that is weighing on you, go lay it down and go pick it back up. Now,
Mm-hmm.
what kind of sense does that make?
But we do it all the
Um,
time.
but we do it all the time. But that doing that, laying it down and not picking it back up comes with discipline and
Yes.
it comes with practice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it is a daily denial of yourself
Mm-hmm.
and your emotions. You can't lay it down on Tuesday and wake up Wednesday and decide, "Oh, I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
get that because she should have."
Mm-hmm.
You can't. You're again spending your at what
Yeah.
cost? Is it worth me going to pick back up?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it worth my sanity? Is it worth my time? Is it worth my health? Is it? How much is it going to cost you?
How much is it going to cost you? So many leaders say that the pace is so fast that I can't even catch up or catch my breath. You have been talking about the cost. You've referenced the hospital. You've referenced the 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 physical weight. What are some signals that actually tell you it's time to rest before the weight becomes too heavy to continue to carry for you?
Hmm. For me, am I sleeping
Mm.
at night? And not just am I sleeping, am I able to lay in my bed and relax
Mhm.
relax
Mhm.
my body and rest.
Mhm.
Sometimes the flag is, how am I holding my body as I'm sitting somewhere?
Mm.
Or I'll just,
Yeah.
why are we walking around like this? If you are watching this show, relax your shoulders, please.
Yeah.
So sometimes it will tell you in your posture, my eating habits. Am I making time to sit down and eat? And if I am, what am I eating? Am I feeding my body good things?
Mm-hmm.
Or am I running through a drive through every 5 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Um, that type of stuff. So
Yeah.
the the older I get and the more time I spend in leadership, I'm paying attention to those things, how I'm treating my body. Am I able to work
Mm-hmm.
out? If
Mm-hmm.
I can't get to a gym, today I walked to all my meetings, which required me to walk across campus. But not only did that do me good for my body and get my steps in, it gave me some time to come down. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm a person that when the world is too much, I have to go outside and sit in nature or just breathe the air or hear the birds. And it gives me time to just collect my thoughts before I
Mm-hmm.
have to go to the next space. It gives me time to get the fresh breeze on me. It really kind of just changes my whole mood.
Mm-hmm.
So even if if I left a meeting and I'm like, ooh, I got to do boom, 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 boom. I've released that on that walk
Mm-hmm.
because now I got to go into another space and be have another conversation with somebody else. I can't carry what I just left into this. So I've released that.
Mm-hmm.
I took notes so that I can revisit it later. But right now in that moment, it's not time for me to stack. It's
Right.
not time for me to go back and it's not time for that. It's time for me to release and walk into a space that is clear.
Yeah.
I'm ready
Mm-hmm.
to receive the conversation. I'm ready to make a connection.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then, I have times when weekends or I have certain times or evenings where it's like, no,
Yeah.
I have, you have to have a bound. Where is the boundary? And are you honoring that boundary? And I will tell you all that that is a constant conversation I have with myself daily.
Yeah. When you are describing all of that, to me, it sounds like you're really honoring who you are as not only a leader but a person, as a human. And as humans, we have the physical and we have the emotional. And I'm wondering, how can leaders model emotional honesty and resilience
Mm,
without
mm, mm,
transferring their own weight onto other people?
that's a good question. So for me, I do a lot of journaling.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, my church is doing a 21-day fasting and prayer. We do it every January, which is wonderful. Kind of helps start the year off. But I'm journaling my journey. I outside of that, I'm journaling my
Mm-hmm.
emotion about how I felt about a certain thing, place, time,
Mm-hmm.
day, and that way I'm getting it out. I'm not, um, you know, for lack of better terms, throwing it up on
Mm-hmm.
someone else for them to feel like, dang, she didn't even ask me how I was doing, and here she come
Mm-hmm.
with all her stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I have a commute, so during that time for me, that is my time. No, I ain't talking to you. No, there's
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I don't even listen to music because I just want to just be. So
Yeah.
I feel like I have to, because I work with so many different people in so many
Mm-hmm.
different offices, I have to have a release
Mm-hmm.
because I don't need that to transfer onto someone else. And then I don't need them to carry my burdens on top of theirs. I don't need them to feel that pressure. So I feel like I have to model that,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I have to lead by example. So those are two of my big ones.
That word release is actually the first of 5 R's that I do every single morning and have been doing since it has to be since maybe August,
Mhm.
when I realized the plan that I had wasn't going to happen, and I had to surrender my plan to accept God's plan, and it was scary. And so I found
Yes.
like all of this fear, like I was so scared because the plan that I had to surrender to did not look like what I
Mhm.
wanted to do, or that it was even going to be safe.
It
And
usually doesn't.
right.
Right.
But it was a call to a whole nother
Mm.
step in leadership. But
Mhm.
I had to surrender that. But we'll say in our faith, you just need to surrender it. Well, I had to create this ritual every
Mhm.
morning using 5 R's to really operate in a place of surrender. And the first of
Yeah.
the 5 is release. So the first
Mm.
R is release. And I literally, as I connect with myself in the morning, I write down, what do I actually need to release today? What is
Mm.
showing
That's
up
so
for me?
good.
Is it work? When I woke up, what did I wake up carrying? That
Mhm.
honestly, I have to release it because it's not going to serve me. And I need to be emotionally honest with myself to write it
Mhm.
down. Is it worry? Is it anxiousness? Is it doubt? Is it
Mhm.
frustration? Like I literally, and some mornings it's one thing, some morning it's 3 things. Child, this morning of fighting with myself, I had 6 things on that release. I wrote 6 things down. I'm like, Holy Spirit, come on.
Cause you
Come
was gonna
on.
give somebody the
I was going
business.
I was going to let them know. Like, you need to know. You need to know. So, and I'm just the one who's going to let you know. And Holy
And you
Spirit
know
was
what?
like,
Praise the Lord.
no.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord that you didn't even get the opportunity
Didn't.
because people. You said something about long game a while ago. When we're all in our emotion, we don't think about the long game. And as leaders, the decisions that we make are going to affect someone long
Yeah.
term,
Yeah.
way after we're gone,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And what you're talking about right now, what you're modeling and what we're doing goes back to community. You listen, you preaching, you helping somebody. We have now a leadership community.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
blessing somebody,
Yeah.
right? It
Yeah.
what's the
And
other R's? Because I feel
no,
like I
no.
need to take
See,
notes.
so this is a
I got my
perfect
notebook.
intro. This is a perfect intro. So there are 5 R's, but I'm not going to share them on the air.
Okay.
And you brought
Okay.
up community because this just gives me an opportunity for specifically women. I know more than women listen to our show, but in this moment, give me 2 minutes. I'm only speaking to the women because I'm
Mhm.
calling women who want to lead in their life in a revolutionary way. You are
Oh, come
ready
on,
to put
rebels.
down. You know that's right. You know that's right. You are ready to put down scarcity. You are ready to stand boldly, even in uncertainty. And Girlfriend Gathering 2026 is launching again January 24th. And the first thing we are going to do in the first session is I'm going to teach you the 5 R's. We are going to
Mm,
exercise it. I'm going to give you a booklet on how to execute it and how it has literally revolutionized how I show up every single day as a leader. I do these five
I love
R's.
that.
I have started sharing it with clients. And I had one client, he's a male. He came back, he said, "This here thing, you needed this right here is a book." Like these five things
Okay, so
have changed everything for me.
so
So
we're gonna get a book, y'all.
look, see,
Okay, so
don't you
everybody
start.
listening.
Don't you
So
start.
so we're gonna get a book. And then the other thing I heard and what she said is that you all need to, lady girlfriends, get your
Girlfriends.
register on, okay? Because registration is open. I need you to take care of that.
Yes.
Thanks.
And I promise that in this show tonight, our launch of the first episode of 2026 for the flip side, the first session of Girlfriends Gathering is prepare. And I think part of our conversation when we're talking about recognizing the weight that we're
Mm,
carrying, that's a part of preparation,
mm-hmm.
getting honest about it, and identifying the tools to actually put that weight down, or at least put it in its proper place.
Mm-hmm.
And so the big announcement that I am so excited. I've been holding this for a minute because I know a weight that many of us are carrying is a fear of scarcity, not having
Mm,
enough, not being ready. And this year for Girlfriend Gathering, we are actually offering a $5,000 impact innovation grant. You, if you are a part of Girlfriend Gathering, you have to attend at least 4 out of the 5. We are going to walk you through how to prepare yourself to be fundable, to be bankable. And we're not just going to give
mm.
you tools. If you participate in 4 of the 5, you will qualify to submit your application for the $5,000 Girlfriend Gathering Impact Innovation Grant.
That is
And
amazing.
one girlfriend is going to give $5,000 to launch the idea, to build the plan, to get the course, to curate the next piece of software that you need in order to expand the business. You are
Mm.
going to create and write your grant, pitch it to us, and $5,000. I am so excited
Amazing. That's
about
amazing.
this.
So basically, girlfriends, get your
Girlfriends,
registration together tonight.
I'm
Okay?
just
Can't
saying,
say nobody didn't tell you because you heard it here first.
you heard it here first. You heard it here first. Cuz I know it's like
Mm.
this conversation around the weight is so diverse. It's physical loss, it's financial loss, it's uncertainty, it's short-staffed, it's all
Mhm.
this scarcity. And I've been really sitting with what kind of impact I want to
Mm.
have as a leader, not only in the show, but
Mhm.
in my everyday 9 to
Yes.
5, in Living
Mhm.
Strong, and in Girlfriend Gathering. You're going to see a thread because
Mhm.
sometimes as a leader, you have to get focused and more narrow to go
Mhm.
farther and be more impactful.
Yes, and you know what else I'm thinking as you just said that in my season, I had to be honest with myself, but then I had to say, what is this season really trying? What is he really trying to
Mhm,
teach me in this season? How
mhm,
does he really want to use me in this season?
mhm.
And this is before I knew I was walking into what I'm into now, you know. And now I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
every day I'm like, oh,
Oh,
you know what? Oh, okay, here we go. Right?
yes.
But back to your question about somebody saying, what if I don't have time? If you don't make the time for stillness, you're not going to. You're not going to figure the answer to that question out.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. It's not just going to show up.
It's not just going to drop in your lap. You have to
Mm-hmm.
actively practice stillness.
Mm-hmm.
It might be daily. And for
Mm-hmm.
me, it was daily.
Mm-hmm.
And that stillness might involve unplugging from something that you don't want to give up,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? For me, it was coming off of social media. It was not watching the news. It was not. It was doing all those things that I
Mm-hmm.
did not want to do. But that's sacrifice,
Yeah. That's
right?
uncomfortable. That's
That is
uncomfortable, right?
uncomfortable. But I got so many lessons in that
Mm-hmm.
time, and then it was my responsibility to share it
Yeah.
with others.
So what I
And you
want,
know what happened?
what?
So many other people were like, "Oh my gosh, I'm feeling that too," or "I'm glad that you're sharing this."
Yeah.
Of course.
So I want also, and we talked about this, in every single leader who will be coming on the show, I've asked them to be committed to this last portion, because I hear people inbox me and talk about how powerful the conversation was. That was a great conversation. This year, I want you to inbox me and tell me what you did as a result of the conversation. So every single leader, all 47 all year, are going to give you a call to action at the end of the show. And so I've asked Dr. Dani to think about what is her call to action in connection to this conversation around carrying the weight of a leader with grace, even in the face of grief, in order to be an overcomer. So, Dr. Dani, I'm going to pass it over to you. What is your call to action to our leaders who are listening tonight?
I want you to be reflective and begin to journal your journey. And the first question I want you to answer is, what is this season trying to teach me? I need you to understand that healthy leadership does not happen in isolation. Pressure does not mean that you're. So the second thing I need to do is shift your mindset and your perspective, um, around that word pressure, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pressure doesn't mean that you're failing. It might mean that you're being trusted with more. Okay. So what is this season trying to teach you? Remember that healthy keyword. Healthy leadership does not happen in isolation. Pressure doesn't mean that you're failing. It might mean that you're being trusted with more. So what is this season trying to teach you? Starting today with number one, we are going to journal our leadership journey. So that also means you're tuned in 46 other times to get the assignment from the next leaders. So understand, here are just some of my final thoughts for you too. The weight that leaders carry is definitely real, but so is the grace available to carry it. You have to give yourself grace to do that. We don't have to rush. You don't have to harden. You don't have to perform your way through the pressure. The same grace that you out here giving everybody day to day, I need you to give it to yourself. So, what is this season trying to teach you?
Conversation, I want to speak directly to leaders who are listening while you're carrying more than anyone actually realizes. You're carrying the weight of decisions that affect families, futures, funding, and even your faith. You're carrying grief, sometimes personally, sometimes collectively, while still being expected to show up steadily. Even trying to be strong and certain. You're carrying moral tension, understaffing, shrinking resources, and the quiet fear of disappointing people who are already hurting. And yet, you're still here. What Dr. Dani reminded us today is that leadership isn't about having an endless capacity. It's about learning how to lead with grace. When capacity feels thin, grace will help you name the grief. Grace will help you breathe. Grace will allow you to admit that the weight is real without letting it harden your heart. Overcoming doesn't mean you don't feel the loss. It means you don't let the loss take you over. In seasons like this, staying anchored to purpose matters more than the speed. Presence matters more than perfection. And service, true service, doesn't require self-erasure. Dr. Dani helped us understand that finding yourself in service to others is it has a cost, but it is one that is connected to your health and humanity. So here's your invitation. As we close out this conversation today, name your weight, identify what you're carrying, and choose one act of grace this week for yourself, for your team, but especially for you to reconnect with you. It's about carrying what actually matters with wisdom, with courage, and with hope. So until next time, stay grounded, stay connected, and keep flipping adversity into purpose because you are seen. And we'll see you next week.